RTD late night chat. Checking in this evening. It's about 10:30, 10:35 ish. And so I figure I'd check in, see what's on your mind. Also share with you a couple thoughts I have on the cryptocurrency sector. So give it a second before I begin going back and forth. But I think that this current little Bitfinex slash Tether um, uh, unraveling could actually lead to that next crypto dip. So that's something I want to talk about. But more importantly, as more people come into the chat, let me know where you're watching from. We'd love to give you a little shout out real quick. And so my name is Mike, the host of RTD Late Night Chat. And so I won't be on long this evening, but just want to check in and see what's going on. So what's happening out there that I may not have got a chance to talk about or check into earlier. So interested in finding out exactly what's going on. More importantly, let me actually pull up something. We got Amanique. Amanique, how you doing from Tampa, Florida? How's things down in Tampa? I assume the weather is a lot better there than it is here in Detroit. Boy, it's supposed to be spring, but it still feel like it's a tad bit of winter, especially in the evenings. Who else is out there watching? Let me know where you're watching from. That's another thing. Like, as more people, not too many people actually uh, uh, tune in via, or not tune in, but come, or let me see, let their presence be known via chat or calling in. So I'm always curious to find out who actually is out, who actually is all watching, and just what other people's thought process is of just watching, especially the people who don't intermingle in the chat. That's different. It says it's warm 80 degrees. Man, can't wait till we get that consistently here. It was like 74 on Monday and then 60 something every other day after that. We got James on here. We got Jeff on here. So as I mentioned, this week trying to do things different. Didn't get a chance to do my little afternoon stream because I actually did a had an interview with Philip Haslam, and so I posted that video over at the Silver Doctor. So if you guys are interested in finding out about some recent developments in Zimbabwe, I would encourage you guys to go check that out because it's a great conversation, and it's always good to catch up with Phil. And so we got Scott. How you doing, my friend? So what is going on with you guys? What's up this evening? So what I want to talk about is share my thoughts on it's will be a little bit of a crypto talk, so bear with me. But so as of today, it looks like the whole Bitfinex Tether situation, Attorney General filing a lawsuit against Bitfinex. Uh-oh. So it looks like there might be some dark days for the crypto sector, especially as after that news. Jeff Dorsey said, "I saw the video. Good deal, my friend. Guten Tag." Peter, how you doing? So as a result of that Attorney General situation, I would imagine that tomorrow, especially, and over this weekend, heading to next week, depending on how serious that whole lawsuit thing unfolds. Let me actually pull it up to get more information about it. But a part of me, I'm excited because once again, I'm still anticipating that complete, no, not complete, but somewhat of a bigger dip in the cryptocurrency market, definitely before it rallies. And so this could be that that the trigger to that dip. And so I know that a lot of other crypto people out there are still talking about, well, I think it was $2,000 Bitcoin and maybe a $10, $11 Litecoin. And so the idea, if this is a trigger or that leads to that, for those that are into crypto and those that invest in that type of thing or speculate in that type of stuff, it's kind of exciting because I would love to see another dip of that magnitude. Am I am I by myself or anybody else out there wouldn't mind having the same little dip? And for those that might not be interested in actually or have already got into the cryptocurrency sector but have interest in doing so, if this little lawsuit situation leads to a bigger dip, then if you want to get it at a much lower cost, this next dip, if this is a result of that, could be the dip that where you want to get in if that's something that interests you. Faith, how you doing this evening? LOR. It's recovery. It's recovering already. Andrew, let me check it out. Last time I looked, it was like 72 hours for Litecoin, and so yeah, if it does go down, it's great. If it doesn't, still good. But if it went down, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be one of them people that's like, man, it's what's going on out there? Just because me personally, it's one of the things where I always talk about having, just the possession itself, uh, especially at this current time frame before the next rally, is the most important thing. Faith. Oh my goodness. So here we go again. I don't know what it is, man. I'm sitting here talking. I actually got some. My wife got me some throat soothing echinacea lemon tea. I wasn't anticipating on coughing tonight, but all of a sudden, as I'm talking, I'm feeling a cough coming, and I was fine prior to this. Peter says Litecoin hit 22 late last year. Yeah, man, I remember that. And at that current moment, I don't know if it's a day or two or how long, but I was excited. I'm like, I was trying to hold off because I was believing it was going to go lower. So I think I end up buying some, but not as much as I wanted to rather, because I was still waiting on that thing to go below 20. And so what I'm hoping there's another one out there. John Moore, how you doing, my friend? Said he was a buyer at 22. I was holding off, John, because I was hoping for it to go a little lower. But as I was saying tonight, with this whole Bitfinex and Tether situation, this could be the catalyst that could lead to another major dip, because depending on how this plays out, if the mainstream media runs with this, talking about how they can use this easy as said the criminal nature of not having exchanges that are regulated, and the uncertainty of who's holding these coins and what they do with these coins. The mainstream media, if they wanted to, this could be something that the people that's controlling the mainstream media use to further and to hurt confidence in a lot of newbies. They could put a slow little pause in this adoption push that's underway that could lead to a major price dip. And if it does, I wouldn't be mad. Crazy stuff. I never trusted Tether. Yeah, John, man, I of course follow a lot of other crypto people, and no one has ever really trusted Tether. And apart from being the first low-key so-called stable coin until, I guess the last year or so, when more of those stable coins came out, Tether was exposed for being somewhat of a fake. And then you got the people all behind it, the Brock Pierce and all those people. A lot of people don't like those people in general. Nice shit right on the bottom. Uh-oh. Thunderstorm, asthma, chemtrail. Is a triggering of the asthma attack by environmental conditions. Bad. I think I do have. I think as I get older, I'm starting to notice little aches and pains and all types of things that I guess can trigger to old age, not necessarily chemtrails and stuff like that, but who knows. But I was fine until I literally hit stream. Then all of a sudden I start feeling the cough. So that's, unfortunate. Just it's moving back up now. BTC looks very strong to me right now. Let me see what the price is. So my thought was, if it does dip, that'd be great. And if it doesn't dip, that'd still be fine. And so I'm looking up, let me see what the price is right now. Let me refresh this. So I'm seeing 5,200 down 209 over, I'm not sure over when. But anyway, whether it goes up or goes down, to be continued. It says drink a little honey, man. So I do got honey in my lemon. I do got tea. I got some honey in the lemon tea or whatever. Good evening, Shane. Shane can always come in with some numbers. Did you at least try to boil water? Omni, I got the recommendation from, I think it was yesterday. But after that, apart from me writing it down, my thoughts I'd be so gone with so much other stuff that I did forget. So forgive me. And I don't have a pen nearby to write it down. But give it to me again. I mean, whether we said it was boiled water and something else. But what else is happening out there? Anything else happened today that was worthy of talking about? Because I didn't have a chance to really comb through the news. But one thing I've noticed more articles, especially on Forbes, Market Watch, talking about recession. So it looks like the mainstream media now is starting to anticipate a recession. So that's never a good thing. Recession. Type in recession, see what comes up. Yeah. It says, here's one from CNBC. It says, Friday's report of first quarter growth should show economy is strong and no recession in sight. Oh, really? It says in regions, Generation Z turns out to be frugal. It says, new S&P 500 high mask warns of an economic recession. Recession would rock for profit and nonprofit hospitals. A recession is coming, but insurance companies say, but not this year. So here we have Barron's. Barron's is a pretty major news source for the financial world. And so, headline, as of today, says a U.S. recession is coming. Big insurance companies say so, but not this year. So I'm not sure if I would really believe insurance companies, because who stands to lose the most on this next time the economy slows down? And they themselves will come up on a short end of the stick, I'm sure. But just more talk of what's going on. Says, did you at least try? Nope. I got 3,500 on World Coin Index. So you got 5,350 on World Coin Index. I use just Blockfolio. Seems to be easiest for me. And that's another thing. So many exchanges have a slight variation in prices nowadays. I wonder, do a lot of people, or is it even worth trying to utilize the arbitrage and buy low, sell high here, and all that stuff like that? I keep wanting to cough again. Dang. It says, Mike, how much money would you personally say it's enough? Spirit. What's the question? How much money I would say is personally enough? So let me know exactly what do you mean as far as just in general, for a family, for an individual, or what? Let me know what you mean by that. It says, when will there be a gold-backed crypto? Bad Monkey. When will there be a gold-backed crypto? Well, there's already a couple projects out there that's gold-backed. And so there's the one I'm familiar with is with the Carrot Bars and the KBC and the KCB. As of July 4th, 100 KBC coins will be redeemable for a 1 gram of gold. So it's definitely a project that's underway, and I got my coins up too there too. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Who am I speaking with tonight?
It's Q, man.
Q, how you doing, my friend? What's going on tonight?
Nothing much, man. Hey, I'm traveling right now. I see that you're online, live. So I actually have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, man. So throughout all my travels, man, one of the things that that we continually talk about, throughout is this massive real estate bubble and this massive commercial bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So we know about Toronto, we know about Seattle, we know about San Francisco, we know about what's going on in a lot of these our own local countries. We know about China, but we never talk about the massive real estate bubbles that were popped all around the world. We never talk about the real estate bubble that's popping in Kenya. We never talk about the massive real estate bubble in Ethiopia. We never talk about the massive real estate bubble here in Thailand. So my question is, at the end of the day, when the bubble bursts and we have all this commercial property and real estate available on the market, and we don't have enough citizens to be able to adequately staff all of these office spaces and all of these houses and condominiums and mansions, what are we going to do with all this stuff?
Whoo, okay. That's a pretty serious question there. What will we do with all that stuff? Well, I don't have a direct answer, and I'm starting to cough too, but it will be a lot of along with that, everyone, especially on the when it comes to just your everyday residents, a lot of people, for the most part, everyone has a mortgage. So all those mortgages, those things right there will be probably wiped out, restructured, or just basically restructured to some type of loan. So I can imagine a lot of people walking away from their current residences now. And depending on how bad it is, if it's all like a globally systemic event at the same time where everything is collapsing, I can see a lot of people leaving their current residences and basically like just what they call them, squatting in a lot of other houses, because a lot of people are going to be leaving houses vacant to get away from them. And so I can imagine a lot of people flip-flopping around, taking up residences in other places. As far as the commercial places, I wouldn't begin to know, because they will definitely be for sale. But if it's like a currency situation, then what will be, how much and how will the banking go? Because credit going to freeze up. So there may not be any lending. So unless you got, cash, or if cash is still something that people are willing to receive in a short term, I'm sure it will be, but in long term might not be as welcome. But then again, there's been stories, of course, from yesteryears where people with gold coins could go in and buy, 2 houses or, yeah.
So let me ask you one more question, then just to kind of throw it out there and see what you think.
Yeah.
So again, we have all this commercial real estate. We have all these statements. We have all this stuff. We have all these houses, big mansions, whatever you want to call them. We have property that's available with a declining population.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen? To the price of housing. Do you think there's going to be an inverse correlation between, let's say, like the price of housing and commercial real estate? Where a piece of house or an apartment will cost less, let's say, like a loaf of bread?
Ooh, man, I don't know. So first of all, start. I don't know. In guessing, I would never think there'll be an inverse correlation to that extent, to where housing, because I mean there's appears to be an abundance of housing, and they're still building like mad. They're still building like crazy. So I can imagine. Clearly the prices are going to be revalued to their true worth and of course to what people can afford. And if people aren't working, people can't afford to spend $100,000, $200,000 for a house. So I'd imagine every house will probably dip the same way the stock market will, 80, 90%. So say worst case scenario, if your house is $150,000 now, if your entire subdivision is completely forfeited or foreclosed on, every house may go for $10,000, $15,000 type of thing, I would guess. But if people can't afford it, then there's no way they can charge astronomical amounts of money, because it's going to be vacant. And then you're going to run the risk of it being vandalized, burned down, and people are going to squat in the house, because there's not enough people from the banks to actually monitor and control all these houses and subdivisions. That's going to be, problematic. So I don't know about cheaper than a loaf of bread, but it's going to be basically very, very affordable if you got the funds. So the people who are sitting on cash and assets might be the ones buying up, neighborhoods or blocks or whatever. If it's an orderly transition. That's just my opinion. Man.
I'm sorry, just one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
One more question, man. Okay, so do you think, let's say, in an inflationary environment, right, where the currencies are starting to go to their true value against things of real assets. Do you think in an inflationary environment that because we have such an abundance of housing and real estate and all this other stuff, that maybe either the price of housing and commercial real estate won't exactly rise or inflate with, let's say, like a loaf of bread, because we have to have somebody has to have a loaf of bread to eat, but because we have such an abundance of housing and commercial real estate, that's not necessarily something that people would actually really need.
I don't know, because at the end of the day, you need a place to rest your head at night after you eat a good meal. So they're going to go hand in hand, and of course, I would say you have to eat before you worry about your shelter, because if you don't eat or get water, you're going to die. So I would imagine there's always going to be a rush towards food right away, to where housing is going to be something that will be, as you mentioned, plentiful. So I don't think that's going to be much of an issue as it will be for food, because if logistically all the grocery stores, especially in the major metropolitan areas, if all the grocery stores don't have food on the shelves, where will the food come from? So people are going to be leaving the cities, I mean, in a worst case scenario, out to look for food. So they gonna say the hell with the house. We'll sleep under the damn tree as long as we eating type of thing. So that's just my thought, man. But I've never been in a situation like that. Couldn't imagine it. But I mean, it's happened to people, and it's happening right now in second, third world countries, I'm sure. So, hey, man, Q, you always got me thinking, man. I appreciate that.
No worries, man. Take it easy, boss.
Be good.
All right,
Yeah, man. Good stuff as always. Yeah, Q is always on point with his, man. He always got some deep questions to make you think for real. I appreciate that. All right, it says when debt service exceeds wages, game over. When debt service exceeds wages, which we can say it's kind of happening now. Eat bricks. Eat bricks. Ooh-wee. All right, what's going on in the chat? What else is going on? It says when that was that real estate will crash just like everything else because nobody will have any buying power. Very true. But yeah, I don't. Here's the thing. Like, I remember listening to Dave Ramsey. So everybody's familiar with Dave Ramsey, the Financial Peace University, the 7 Baby Steps, or whatever. I remember hearing him answer someone's question one time about the recession, this past recession, and the how chaotic and problematic it was for investors and savers and everybody. And so one thing that stood out for me was that he's a guy now who's financially independent because he has his assets working for him. So he was saying that when the Great Recession happened and the housing market collapsed or went through what it went through, he said he was excited because he made so much money, or he was liquid to where he was able to get some of his best deals, just like Robert Kiyosaki. So there's a lot of people. And so what's even more interesting, like when you got people who are not even in the financial world, like the Gary Vaynerchuks, and you got Tony Robbins, out here writing books talking about the next crash is coming, the recession is coming. These people, those are millionaires, sometimes billionaires. They're already ready to be purchasing entire blocks and neighborhoods and cities. So there's a small portion of the population that are already filthy rich that realize the importance of actual having land ownership and real estate. So those people, as soon as there's a dip and houses go on sale, the way they did in the Great Recession, they're going to be bought so quick. And so it's just people who are already in the know and already extremely liquid and already wealthy, they're going to get wealthier. That's the transfer aspect. So there's the people who are not in the know and people who are not liquid now to even, in a worst case scenario, and this is just my opinion, be liquid enough or be able somehow, some way, whether it be through your accumulation of your metals, your cryptos, or having cash ready, or or having already paid off your mortgage, so that at least if things go crazy, you can then be able to purchase your own residence outright. And so that's one thing I question myself with, like if you still have a mortgage on your house, you already owe a good chunk of change, and foreseeing the recession coming, that your house gonna go on sale, still being able to honor your mortgage and say that, now my house is not worth what I owe. Will I walk away from it? Will I pay it off? Will I ride it out? And that's what a lot of people are going to be confronted with, whether or not they're going to walk away from the house. Because I know several people back in, was it 2010-ish, just say, hey, I'm done. I'm walking out. They walked away from the house, gave it to, I think it was like 4 years later, they were back in another house, credit. So those are all things I think people should also consider. Whew. Caller, gold prices are at all-time highs in 70 countries. Jeff Doris, that's a very good point there. And so clearly the value in, as you gold is money. So if gold is money, basically it's saying that in 70 countries, the national currencies for those 70 currencies are down. That's basically what it's saying. And so for those that are aware of that and can reverse that and think of it that way, if you got gold, you're fine. So it's the same thing would apply here, I believe. There might be a dip in the paper price of metals when the recession hits, just like it was last time, but then it will be a spike because those that are in the know will rush into tangible assets. Says D. Reggie's platform would be in greater use if your everyday Joe could be active with it. But due to him focusing on big money, this platform will only be for the top 1% credit. So we talk about Veritasium. Yeah, so and just share my thoughts on Veritasium. I remember when I first heard about Veritasium from Reggie 3 years ago when he was on the show. He was already talking about how disruptive and how his project was going to just basically alleviate the need for banks and everything. So I'm like, man, okay, this guy's talking pretty big. But to this day, he has thoroughly come through with everything he's intended on doing. It just hasn't taken off yet because of the current market in general. But I think just holding on to Veritasium tokens itself, you know, whether you're go through the KYC process to become a certified member of the platform or not, Veritasium is going to be something that's not going anywhere. And I think it's definitely going to get bigger because his primary focus outside of big money, Omni, is also in Africa. So if he get, you know, the Nigerian exchange and all those, you know, countries he's working on to utilize that platform, you know, the next wave of development, which is going to come from the African continent, he's trying to lock up. So if he locks it up, anything to do with that token is going to go along with that. So that's what's exciting to me. So it's one of the things where don't even have to be involved with the actual platform directly. Just sit on the Veritasium tokens as if they're like, you know, property. For what he's doing, those tokens are assets that would be worth something. Face that, drink some more. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. Says people will not leave the cities like Mike thinks. City people are afraid to leave the city. They will say even when they are starving. See, that's the thing. Like you can stay, but yet, you know, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna feed yourself? I would assume that if you can't find food in your local area, after you then searched everywhere, probably even, God forbid, did something, you know, not moral to get your last meal, you're gonna have to get up and move, like and look and go to another neighborhood. You know what I'm saying, to search, because you can't stay in one spot when there's no food, because if there's no food there like that, you're gonna starve to death. So I don't think people are gonna literally sit there and starve to death. They're gonna get up and go look for food. Says Tony, how you doing? What happens when the U.S. goes to crypto and China goes gold back? How much will the dollar be worth? Ooh. What happens when the U.S. goes to crypto and China goes back to gold, goes back to gold? Good point. Let me just think about that. I would imagine that the U.S., in order to interact on an international stage when it comes to commerce, because the world may not necessarily recognize treasuries and the Federal Reserve notes as primary assets they want to hold as reserves. So I would imagine the U.S. would eventually get involved with whatever mechanism the world recognizes. And so if it is a gold-backed or currency basket of something, gold, SDRs, whatever they're trying to come up with, or whatever they have in play already, just not revealed, the U.S., in order to do business with China or to do business with anybody in the Middle East, because especially if we're not in the petrodollar system anymore, and if we need oil still, we're going to have to probably purchase it from somebody still. So they're going to have to use whatever that preferred method of payment might be. So the U.S. will have to be on that. So every government, I think, in order to do business with themselves, are going to use the same medium of exchange, whatever it is. It looks as if it's going to be gold backed something. So the U.S. will have to play that. But once again, that's between the governments. But I think the citizens can have something else to use, and that gets into what Jim Willie talks about with, you know, the gold backed note that will fluctuate, that will be amongst governments, and then to instill confidence, there might be some crypto backed by something or another, commodities or something, that the people will be able to claim as assets, but not necessarily use on day-to-day transactions. So not sure how that all work out. Tablespoon of honey. It would be nice to see the government jobs, pay, benefits linked to median wages of the tax base they serve. Wishful thinking would be nice. Would be nice. 1 million bit at the spot should be valued at 1 milli bit at the spot should be valued at 1 cent or $1. 1 milli bit. So I'm assuming that was I don't even know 1 milli bit. So that was with crypto. It says, Ryan, how you doing? It says, do they purposely keep Buzz Aldrin heavily medicated in order to force him to go along Apollo 11 moon landing hoax? Mike, you need a large. Yeah, I do. Um, I have no clue that whole Apollo 11 situation. The more I hear so many people, so many YouTubers out there that's talking about the moon landing, having gone to moon was a hoax. That something about the technology or whatever it was that got us there then they lost or can't find, or the equipment is or something I hear about. How come we haven't been back in a while? So I don't follow that much. I believe clearly we're not been told a lot of things, and what we are being told is a doctored version of the truth. It says workers will get eaten alive the next 15 years with inflation. Better slim down your lives now. Slim down your lives now. Yeah. Get your weight up and get your calories up. I think somebody a while back, I think also Chris Martinson of Peak Prosperity talks about, it gives a list of about 10 or so things that, people that are, people should be prepared to have. And calories is one of them. Storage of food and dry goods. And so a lot of you guys have mentioned that in the past as well. Being able to preserve your food and stuff like that, definitely, something to check into. Gardening and plants and seeds and stuff like that. Blue-eyed giraffe. The financial world is upside down. Things have worked in the past may not work this next time. I agree 100%. So I think it's April 25th. We're, approaching the summertime, the middle part of the year. This spring is always going to be a roller coaster ride. I think it's August or September is when, the equities markets dip and we got the whole primary situation. So all this stuff coming up will definitely be interesting amongst the Federal Reserve and their monetary policy and what they will or will not do. Something to consider. Gargle apple cider and vinegar. Everybody got it. This is like everybody has a remedy of some kind. I'm starting to think it's psychological now. Who sees S&P going up? I'm gonna leave that alone. Let somebody else answer that one. Mike, what do you see happening in Argentina? J to the K. Man, Argentina is something that I think is going to be. Patrick White, how you doing, my friend? Chile, down in Valparaiso. No, not Valparaiso. Valpo. No, was it Valpo? Yeah. How you doing? Argentina. What's going to happen in Argentina? Oh, Argentina. I just saw a article tonight. Their bond situation is crazy. They're strapped for cash. IMF is continue to extend some of their loan to them, and Macri is basically using the money they borrow to roll over and buy dollars for the short-term usage and not necessarily thinking about the future. So hyperinflation in Argentina by the end of this year. They're already inflation. I mean, it's already almost 40 to 1. So it's going to be very bad down there. And knowing and foreseeing that, if time permitted and everything like that, I would love to go down there. And so it's just something that I would love to do again, just because I love Argentina, man. That's out of all the places I've been, having lived in Argentina, I enjoy it. I enjoyed it heavily. Patrick, how are things in Chile? Says they will have the price of property tax sky high. The government will still be the government. Yeah. So you can probably get real estate at a much cheaper rate if their housing market crashes, but yet the property taxes will be a problem. So yeah, I can see that happening. Chemtrail flu. Pat, you keep talking about chemtrails, I think. Hopefully gold price will stay down until I get to June. Why June? What's going on, DB? Says Tony, I didn't leave that for Tony. Wait, Mike, did you take Elijah Johnson's place on Silver Doctors? Tony, yeah, so Elijah Johnson is transitioning to another project, and so I am stepping in to help with content creation for Silver Doctor. So yes, I am working over there with those guys and excited because it's good to be, affiliated and working directly with a precious metal company, even though it's two different entities, or whatever. But yes, your thoughts on TSLA crap show? Patrick, TSLA. I'm not familiar with that crap show. What are you referring to, Pat? Elaborate a little bit more for me. It's them Detroit cooties he's got. The Metropolitan cough. Oh man, V Chain decisions. Yeah, I hear V Chain is partnering and got some things jumping off. And also, I just a minute ago, what is it? There's another. Oh man, another. No, another platform just had a sign did something that was going to be very. It's going to make Tron just had a partnership or something with somebody. It's going to make that thing. No, Stellar. Stellar just partnered with WireX to create 26 stable coins. I'm not sure why this influx of stable coins right now, but yeah, especially with all this tether thing. I think this tether situation, however it unfolds, are going to, probably expose a lot of other those stable coins that are not so stable. Nothing to see here. Death by debt. Thanks for coming through, my friend. Just having a little late night chat, whatever's in your mind. I heard that the U.S. is now the 2 oil producers. And is that true? Jeff, not 100% sure of where we stand because we're told one thing, but yet, like Trump went out on the news, like I think earlier last year, talking about how we're oil independent now. And I'm assuming the whole fracking industry, from what I've heard from all my prior guests, is that that's a bunch of farce and it's just not profitable. So as the whole debt situation implodes, a lot of people who borrowed for all that fracking, the cost of getting it out the ground will no longer be profitable. So there's going to be issues with that. So if that is the case, I'm not sure how we're the number one, how we're oil independent now, and especially, what's up with us trying to go down to Venezuela and, call the shots down there, get that cheap oil. So not sure. What about other types of investment like skills? Spirit, I agree with that. As I mentioned before, anything that you can use your hands with that can serve other people, whether it's being like a carpenter, a mechanic, stuff like that, definitely will be in need because a lot of people, especially in the city, aren't too skilled these days because we're all in service sector jobs. We are diverting from others. Gas, oil right now is why everyone is moving away from petrol system because we are weaponizing the dollar and oil. Tony, I agree. Weaponizing the dollar, which pushes people away from. So we not only are we sanctioning the world, but we're also utilizing, the dollar and the role that people, the fact that people are dependent upon it as a weapon against them. Too much silver dust in the air. I wish. Says Mike, my company now contributes most of the volume on Chilean crypto exchanges. Contributes most of the volume on Chilean crypto exchange. Pat, that's good to hear, man. How's the project down there? You guys still breaking ground and got more people coming into the community down there? I was I was in Chile. I was in Santiago in December. Came down there for about a week, and I didn't plan my trip out right, but I was intending to try to come down there and hang out. But I was literally there 5 days and got up out of there. So it didn't work out as planned, but I'm definitely going back, hopefully by the end of this year. And I wouldn't mind doing another little tour, hitting Chile, coming down there, then shooting over to a small little city called Neuquén, where I got some friends in Argentina. So, because it's literally Valparaiso and Neuquén is directly across. So it was maybe a 7-hour bus ride, maybe. Or I can, I think from Santiago, fly right into Neuquén. If you're crypto, there's endless possibility, folks. I agree. So there was a question I just missed. Mike says, do you like Jim Willie? J to the K, yeah, I do like Jim Willie. He was on the show. I had him on RT Live Talk. I think it was last spring. And had a great time, man. It was the call-in portion where people were calling in, asking questions. So it was definitely a great chat. I've reached out to him since, haven't heard back. So not sure if he's wanting to be a guest again or just swamped. So he was just on Silver Doctors last week. So he's definitely doing his thing. Valdivia. I keep saying Valparaiso. Yeah, Valdivia. Where I come from, Valparaiso. Where's Valparaiso? Yeah, man, Mike. How big would a U.S. war against Iran be? That could get nasty because China and Russia are backing Iran. I suppose the U.S. has Israel on its side. Peter, if it came down to a war where the U.S. was looking to officially go into or bomb Iran, that would probably be the start and the end of all wars because I don't think China and Russia will have that. And therefore, that will be the complete implosion of the Middle East and everything outside there. So it'll be very bad. Very bad. If not AOC or Bernie, what's the conservative plan to stop the rich, cut their taxes more? Uh, Miss Cortez and Bernie promise people only way I'm about to call it quits because it's a cough for whatever reason. Only way the Democrats can even contend with. Well, this might be it, people. Can't continue if I can't talk. But conservatives, Bernie, AOC, what's her name, Elizabeth Warren. If they can't promise, if they can't, their only sales pitch is to promise free stuff, free schools, free school, free education, free. That's the best way they can try to get people's votes. But it might work if the economy has a little hiccup. If the economy crashes, or if there's a major drop around election time, I can see people say, okay, especially if people continue to get laid off, I would imagine that it'll be a lot easier to vote for the idea of free, universal basic income and all that stuff like that. That stuff is coming this next presidential run. If Trump wins again, it won't come. The next person after that, you better believe the type of economy we're gonna have. People are gonna want that free stuff. 822 Real Talk. We got 426. Yeah, the number 462-0027. Try to take one call, but other than that, because of this verse-based open cryptos and exchange in Europe May 1st, GDP. Yeah, I saw that. 313 462-0027. 10 pounds sterling. Say you dialing me. All right, we'll get you on here if you call, and then going to call it quits on that note, just because can't really continue on if I can't talk. It says, Mike, you need some black seed oil. Man, eat little. So I got boiling water, honey, some lozenges, I got some what's it called? I got lemon, honey, and echinacea in this little tea here. Tastes good, but not too effective. I asked about the conservative plans. Conservative, I really, from the last little political information I looked at, it wasn't too many Republicans or conservatives, who's really running. Like it's for the most part, to my knowledge, I haven't dived into it much, but it looks like a shoe-in for Trump, barring some type of economic or political conspiracy or something. So I don't know who's going to run, because all Trump has to do is just hold down the fort and continue to do what he does or doing right now, and people might settle for that. So not sure what the conservative plan would be, because they're going to just look to expand, continue to borrow and cut their own taxes, as you mentioned. So there's going to be a need for another tax cut pretty soon, I'm sure. Have a good night, Mike. I will contact you in a couple months once the building is finishing for another talk. Signing off is late. All right, my friend. Be good. Have fun. Hopefully see you soon. I'm getting a constant dial tone. Well, the phone is on 313 with 3. So look beneath this video here in the description. 313-462-0027. Phone line is open and I'm available. So let me know. Give it a second. I don't think he knows which phone is ringing. He may have his Silver Doctor phone on. No, I no Silver Doctor phone yet, but I'm working on that for next week though. So I doing live talks with Paul $50 on Wednesday. So I'm gonna have a phone number for that too. So you can believe it. But anyway, I'm about to hang up. I'm about to get off the phone because I'm coughing and it's getting late. What? But breathing method to recover. Wim Hof. Yeah, I've actually watched a video on the breathing method. I've actually watched that like that. Take a deep breath and hold it. Yeah, yeah, that stuff is it's mildly soothing. But anyway, people, it's been great hanging out tonight. I appreciate you guys for joining me, man. Sorry about the cough, but yet I'm not sure what it is and messes up my plans. Talk about the new K1 impulse phone before you go. £10 sterling. There you go. So a lot of people don't even know. So the RTD Gold team is through Care Bars. Okay, so that company has a lot of things coming out, and one of them is the K1 Impulse phone. And so as of September, it'll be out, but it's a blockchain-based phone. It will be there'll be two that I know of: the Pundi X and the K1 Impulse phone. But it's a blockchain-based phone that you have to have phones to talk amongst each other. But it's going to be unique in that it's all the encrypted stuff that's lacking on these phones here. And it has your cold store wallets in it. It has it goes to a satellite. So it's that K1 Impulse phone. I actually haven't gone into it deep, but yeah, I'm interested. I'm getting one. So I'm gonna have on some people on the team to talk about it further. But definitely, a lot of people may not be interested in it, but it's one of the things where I find value in it because I'm a person that anything that's geared towards privacy, I'm definitely open to and exploring it. So. Is that all countries are tied together? A disciple, of course. Syria is not really built system yet. Sure, it's not fully built system yet, but it has a lot of promise. But I don't want to go on anymore. People, it's been great hanging out tonight. Enjoy the rest of your night. Sleep tight. I know I will once I stop coughing. So be good, be safe. I'll probably be back on tomorrow for afternoon chat. And be good.